table. Peter on that Boros aggro deck that we've seen last round. Lars on a white splashing version of Gates. Yes, and we have fan favorite Lars on camera. Won't make it into the top 4 most likely, but has a bit of a different take on that top deck in the format. And we saw him lose to Dylan Botten last round off camera. So it proved that the Gates deck loses from time to time as well. I just put him in the top 4 instead. That's not how it works, but I'll keep it in mind. Wouldn't exactly be fair to the other people in this event. Yep, and we have the deck list. So, as I said, Lars has a white splash in his deck. He's playing the full 4 Gates Ablaze, uh, but also 4 golden eggs. So, fixing his mana that way is still on the plan that has elite guard mages as well, but does not have the grazers, it seems. Yeah, no arboreal grazers for no, yeah, 3 arboreal grazers still. Um, so no colossus then? Yeah, no colossus. Yep, no colossus version of the deck. Throw into top 4. So we have Dylan in top 4 together with Alan and is clean cut. Yeah. So we should have a clean cut into top 4 with Sander on Gates, Laurent on Drakes, Gates as well, and then 2 elemental players to face off against them. Let's hope we don't have 2 mirror matches. We have 2 mirror matches in the first round of top 4. Interesting, GM. Uh, let's get going. Okay. In the meantime, we are off to the races, which is something I say way too much but hadn't said yet. Make it a level 3 judge veto. I'm not judging. Anouk is judging. I'll have to make Anouk a level 3. Anouk, you're a level 3. You have to put Lars in the top 4 now. You're a level 3 judge and you have to put Lars into the top 4. The chat says so. Because apparently level 3s have that power according to them. I didn't know. It'd be pretty cool. Okay, let's get back. Game still hasn't started, so we missed some mulliganing. I think this is Peter mulliganing to. No, wait. What are these guys doing? They're sideboarding? Wait, what? They're sideboarding. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. I think they're de-sideboarding from the previous match at this point. I don't know. I don't think so. Checking. Yeah, but the round has started already, so the judge is rushing in for this. Ta-da-da! Let's see what is going on in there. Lars has some interesting cards. Share spinner. What is share spinner? That doesn't exist. Okay, let's try spinner. Is that just a 1/5 spider he's playing? Life spinner, snare spinner. That confuses me. So it blocks tokens, but it doesn't block a Drake. Hmm. Yeah. So we're on game two. Lars is up one game. Correct? Okay. So welcome to game two, everybody. Snare spinner. Okay, so rares for Lars, as he's not playing the black version, is Chandra, Awakened Inferno, um, Ugin, the ineffable, Teferi, Time Raveler, and Cavalier of Gales. I still find it interesting that they are choosing to play Awakened Inferno when Elementals is the second to third most played deck uh, in this event. Uh, I guess Peter conceded game one without. I'd find it very surprising that I think Lars will know what he's playing already. Though Peter is playing the aggro deck, so he might have had some very quick matches. Peter's mulliganing again. Mulliganing. Camera quality for some reason seems to drip from time to time. I'm not sure anymore what I can do about it. Hmm. Let's just hope that the rendered version that you guys are seeing is slightly better than what I'm seeing on my screen here. Alright. Mulligan for Peter. Has lands and creatures. Only creatures though. It was his first mulligan and he's keeping 6. Alright, we are off. And opening on a very uh, soft start. Peter will play the first creature in his Sky Knight Patrol. Sky Knight Vanguard. I'm a bit surprised by this choice, but maybe there's really nothing more interesting than this fella. When attacking, it's a 2/3 flying, sort of. That makes it look pretty decent. And with the mentor, we have Boros Challenger here. It can grow pretty sizable. Now, I wonder. Now, of course, Peter is going to prove me wrong and everything, but we'll see. Golden Egg for Lars. Draws a card, discards a card, discards Gate Colossus. I'll be back for whenever he needs it. See the Elite Guard Mage in his hand. So for those of you that missed it, the top four has already been locked in with two Gate Stack, Sander and Laurent versus two uh, Elementals decks. And as standings look right now, it looks like we'll have two mirror matches in round one of the top four. Second token mentors up the um, the the Sky Knight uh, chose not to play anything in favor of pumping for 4 mana for 1 extra damage. So trying to play around the Gates Ablaze here that could have hit this turn. So 7, 8, 9, 12, 15. Yep. So the attack would be 4, possibly 5, 7. Yeah, 7 can make it 8 by paying 4. Knights it. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage at this point. One more pump spell makes it lethal. Yeah, trying to keep his Sky Knight Vanguard out of Gates Ablaze range. Has 4 toughness now. Egg gets sacrificed, washes some mana. Ah, no, for life. So he's going to 5, I think. So 14 minus 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Yeah. And passes the turn. Top deck, Gates Ablaze. No. So Peter, after scooping game 1 and mulliganing down to 6, looks like he's taking game 2 here. There's no Gates Ablaze in Lars's hand, and he's facing an overwhelming force on the other side of the table. Peter at this point knows. I mean, if your opponent has the Gates Ablaze, it's on the table at this point. Current players are, I think, 2 and 2, or even 1 and 3. So they're eliminated. Top 2 tables drew, and the third table were 2 decks that was it 2 decks that we've already seen? No, the third table was a mirror match between blue red decks. So I didn't really want to um, have a mirror match on the in the features yet. So Boros looks to be mediocre in the meta. It lost the first few matches, um, and won last round, and is doing pretty well this round. So it's definitely a real player, but it looks to me like either we're missing a few cards to make it really tick, um, or this version needs to be optimized a bit more. The fact that it lost Reckless Rage from last season is a very big loss, but it still has the Burning Prophet and the 10th District Legionnaire that put that Scry Pump engine there. Ai, die lagen hier al 4 uur. Okay. So the looks like the Rimrock Knight is definitely a lock-in though. Excuse me. And the Ardenvale Tactician is also in my version of the deck. I really like this, but there's still like the Sky Knight Vanguard. Is this the answer to the current meta? I don't think so. It feels underwhelming, but maybe I'm missing an aspect of it. The tappers that he's playing in the deck might be a part. They're really good against gates if they get to actually use them. Um, but I don't know. Also, the choice of rares with Feather and Aurelia, I can get behind. God Eternal Okitra and Outlaws Merriment just aims to give this deck a late game that it's not really prepared to deal with. So I think I'd rather see some a lot more aggressive options there, and there's plenty available. Um, this deck really loves a Dreadhorde Arcanist, for example, getting to free cast Defiant Strikes from your graveyard, especially if you have Feather together with it. It works about as lovely as you think it would. Um, so there's it's definitely a deck. I like seeing the Prison Realm in there, and just makes me miss Ixalan's binding. But yeah, who thought we'd say that after lamenting the fact that Cast Out rotated and everybody was like, "Oh, now I have to play Ixalan's binding." Grumble, grumble. But yeah, underway. Game 3, 1-1. Uh, but only one game was played, but that's irrelevant. This time, Lars looks like he has a slightly more healthy hand to play with. Um, so let's see what he can do in this decider. Burning Prophet from Peter to start off the aggression, but we have a Scorching Dragonfire from Lars to keep him honest. 10th District Legionnaire comes in, has haste, and we have another Scorching Dragonfire in Lars's hand there. But I think that back card might be a Gates Ablaze, which is the thing he'd much rather fire off, of course. Three mana open, passes the turn. So Scorching Dragonfire and a Gates Ablaze in hand. Happily takes the two. Yeah, nothing gets added to that. And nothing gets followed up, so Lars decides to Scorching Dragonfire here. That will lure out, yep, God's Willing. But that just means that when he does play that, what I think is Gates Ablaze, he will have a field day with one less God's Willing on the table. In hand, that is. Lars seems to have options. I think there's an elite guard mage in there somewhere. Not so interesting on this board. Be more interesting after combat. I think that's a gate colossus that I also see. That would be a lot more interesting. Yep, that's 3 mana set aside for gate colossus. Doesn't have the white mana for the elite guard mage anyway. I'm not sure what the blue cards are. Gate colossus is the choice. I think Boros rares are locked in. Tajik and Arcanist are very hard to sub. Tajik has been pretty underwhelming for me, though I wouldn't fault anyone for playing it. I still play it, but I keep wishing I had something better. So, that lonely 10th District Legionnaire has dealt 7 damage so far. Let's say Prison Realm in Peter's hand. I'm not sure what the rest is. Might be another God's Willing and a Disenchant. So he's really ready for those guild summits. Golden Egg. I find this a fascinating choice by Lars. I don't understand it, but I find it fascinating. I'm a big fan of the card. Don't get me wrong. I play Sultai Food. I love me some golden eggs. What in Gates? What? Yeah, that is a Gates ablaze. I can't really spot the other cards. That Elite Guard Mage is still there. Four mana. Ah, the Elite Guard Mage is here. But on this board, he's just a jump blocker. Gains him some life and draws him a card though. So it replaces itself. It doesn't really care uh, if it dies, especially if a Gates Ablaze is going to be the next thing to happen. Probably was hoping to draw out the second creature from Peter, but it being a 2/3 kind of blocks off the options there as well. And Peter finally draws a second creature, and that will finally uh, give Lars a reason to shoot off that Geist Ablaze. Now, Lars does need to worry that this is a second creature played because things are taking so long, and that Peter's hand could be just two more of them. But there's a God's Willing in there that will save one of these two. Ja, is goed. Als jij zeker bent dat dat pairing is. Nee. Ik zei waarschijnlijk. Ze zijn dan niet zeker. Ja. So Gates Ablaze gets responded to with God's Willing, targeting the 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 Sky Knight Vanguard. Pretty sure that's a slower clock than yeah. This one does 3.5 damage and 4 attacks for 14 life instead of 16 life, uh, which is his life total. So, huh? Okay. The egg becomes life. Egg is life. So is this egg really just in here to gain life, to break break board stalls and the off chance of getting out of a color screw? Because Gates not really prone to color screw with how much manipulation and dual lands it plays. Gate Colossus comes out for Lars. Now the Vanguard makes a lot more sense because it can keep attacking. Um, I will just deal 2 damage uh, every turn. You just attack with the token as well because the one you make will get killed anyway. But there's a Prison Realm in hand for Peter. There's also a feather that he just top decked and a disenchant that he could just chug at that Gate Colossus. But it looks like Prison Realm is going to be the play here. exiles a creature or planeswalker and scries one, scries the one, and then goes to the bottom. Attacks for 3 with the Vanguard and is again um, forcing Lars to get a Gates Ablaze. He's playing the full 4 set. Most people are only playing 3 these days. But Peter sees the writing on the wall. I do have the feeling that Lars's version is struggling a little bit more than other versions, but I'm not sure why that would be. Attacks for 4, 3 tokens now. And now Burning Prophet and Feather could come in. I'm actually surprised by Peter's decision to only play 3 Defiant Strikes, especially if you have that Feather. But he's not playing the Arcane. Oof! Lars has the Gates Ablaze. There's a God's Willing again in hand for Peter. He is saving the Feather now, right? Feather is your faster clock here. And if you do find a Defiant Strike, having that Feather is so much better. Guild Summit hits the board as well, draws him 3 cards. That's the next Gates Ablaze already in hand. And we have a Land and Grazer for Lars as well. Disenchant on the Guild Summit. And a Rimrock. Knight. Ionic. So Lars again waiting. He has that third copy of Gates Ablaze already waiting. An extra creature is just what he wants here. He knows the God's Willing is in hand though, so that's going to be rough on him. The Rimrock Knight gets feathered out. And with Feather and Adventure both making a replacement effect, um, the Rimrock Knight keeps coming back and keeps going on adventures. You get to choose which one. Lars plays a Guild Summit. And draws 3 cards of it. Finds some things, but is it all too little too late with that God's Willing hiding? And the 4 toughness on Feather, not to be forgotten as well. That makes Scorching Dragonfire super awkward here. 2 mana growth spiral. So Lars is keeps digging deeper. Not sure what he's trying to find. And passes the turn here. He has 3 mana up, but chose not to play the Gates Ablaze here while he's on 5 life. So I'm not sure how he's what he has to survive this turn, but see something blue there. A Ram, a Gates Ablaze, and what are the other two, Lars? What is your fiendish plan? Yeah, I see. No, Lars just scoops them up, and Peter wins 2-1 technically.